guys, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is Health and Emergency Services for October the 7th of 2024. Commissioner Harris, do you mind giving the invocation?
Sure. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just come to you, Lord, giving you all the praise, honor, and glory. Thank you, Lord, for your many blessings. Praying, Heavenly Father, Lord, you just be with us during this meeting, that you'd lead, guide, and direct us, Lord, that the things we do may be pleasing unto you. We pray and lift all those folks up in North Carolina and East Tennessee, Lord. We just pray, Lord, you just be with them and their families. Be with the ones that's lost loved ones. And we just pray, Lord, you just find that you'd give them comfort in their heart, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. So do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion approved.
Motion by Commissioner Janone. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wright. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Approval of the minutes from August the 24th, or August the 5th of 2024. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Harris. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
I abstained just because I wasn't here.
Thank you.
You can approve in form.
All right, here is the election of the chairman of this committee. I've been here for the last 2 years, but I'll entertain any motions.
Motion to elect Mr. Rogers as chairman.
Okay? Have a second?
I'll second that, but
Okay.
can I make a motion? I'd like to nominate Mary Janone
As chair.
as chair, yeah.
Have a second?
I'd like to,
You don't need seconds for nominations.
nominate Jamie Teachner.
Second.
All right, well, we'll just keep going. We won't have a committee. So, anyone else?
Thank y'all for not nominating.
Commissioner Harris, are you interested?
I'm unworthy.
All right, me either. All right, Madam Clerk, how's it easiest for you to do this? Call the roll, we'll dwindle them down to 2, and then dwindle them down to 1?
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with Commissioner Jones,
Teachner.
Commissioner Janone, Commissioner Wright,
Teacher.
Commissioner Harris,
Rogers.
Commissioner Rogers,
Myself.
Commissioner Teachner.
Teacher.
All right, so that is 3 votes Teachner, 2 votes Rogers, 1 vote Janone.
All right, congratulations, we've got a chair.
Do we have to have a
Chairman Teacher.
majority for that, or do we have to have most votes win?
That was, yeah, it has to be a
If it's a
majority.
majority, can I suggest that we drop off the lowest one and do it again?
It's majority of members present, so
Right.
we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Is 3 a majority?
No, it's not majority.
Yeah,
we have
so
to-
we're tied, so that's a no, so we gotta either renominate or pull somebody off. However you wanna do
Well,
it.
Dr. Janone would come, how many did she have?
1.
1.
She had 1, so that would fall off, and then we'll,
I'm
so I guess we'll
fine.
run off between myself and Commissioner Teacher.
Okay. Commissioner Jones,
Teachner.
Commissioner Janone,
Teachner.
Commissioner Wright,
Teacher.
Commissioner Harris,
Rogers.
Commissioner Rogers,
Myself.
Commissioner Teachner.
Teacher.
4 for Teachner, 2 for Rogers.
All right, very well. We've got a new chairman for Health and Emergency Services. I'll turn it over to him. Commissioner Teacher, go ahead.
Thank y'all so much. I didn't see that coming at all. But I want to nominate we're going to just go ahead and go into the vice chair. And if we could we please have some nominations I'll entertain for anybody. I'm going to nominate Mary Janone for that.
I'll second
There's no second.
that. Oh, sorry. We did that first round, so.
Anybody else?
Rogers.
Who said that?
Rogers.
Second.
Okay, so we got anybody else, and I'll go ahead and start. Would you mind starting the voting, if you don't mind? We'll just do, just voice vote like we did the last one, please.
Commissioner Jones,
Janone.
Commissioner Denine. Commissioner Wright.
Rogers.
Commissioner Harris.
Rogers.
Commissioner Rogers.
Rogers.
Commissioner Teacher.
Janone.
3-3.
So,
Any other nominations?
any other nominations that we got for anything? Anybody else?
I'll make this easy. Can I change my vote from the last one?
Just call a
Okay.
vote again.
Vote again.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Rogers.
Commissioner Denine.
I'm gonna vote for myself.
Commissioner Wright.
Rogers.
Commissioner Harris.
Rogers.
Commissioner Rogers.
I should, but I'll vote for myself. Rogers.
Commissioner Teacher.
Rogers.
Rogers, not Denine.
Okay, well, guys, we're set. Is everything, we don't need anything else? Okay, so moving on to the next thing, recognition of the public. And guys, you have to bear with me because I'm new to this world, so if y'all would you come up and I need Kathy Arlen, please, to come up.
Go ahead and tell them to state their name and address.
Yes.
And how long you want them to talk.
Will you state your name and address, please?
Yes, my
And-
name is Kathy Arlen.
and-
I live at 231 Chipaway Drive in Gallatin.
And I'm gonna say, is it typical, can I refer to Commissioner, former Commissioner, I don't know what to say. Can I refer to you, what is the typical amount? Is it 5 minutes?
Well, you only let them have 5 minutes, but it's up to the chair.
Okay, let's do 5 minutes again. We'll just keep it in. Okay, you can go ahead.
All right. Tonight I'm speaking about the Animal Control Ad Hoc Committee, which is on tonight's agenda. Specifically, where we've been, what we found, and where we want to go. Where we have been. In August of 2023, I stood before this committee for the first time representing concerned citizens of Sumner County. Our initial concern stemmed from a 6-week closure at Sumner County Animal Control due to a virus outbreak. Many dogs were euthanized as a result. As an aside, this virus outbreak was in all likelihood caused or exacerbated by substandard intake processes. At the next monthly meeting, Sumner County Animal Control presented their rebuttal in the form of a presentation and video from their contracted veterinarian. This presentation frankly caused even more concerns and questions. We asked for a citizens oversight committee. Deputy Chief Craddock stated clearly at that meeting that in his opinion it was not needed. Shortly thereafter, the Animal Control Ad Hoc Committee was established. What we found. If we have learned one thing from the Ad Hoc Committee's work, it is that oversight was indeed desperately needed. I do not have enough time tonight to list all the things that I've learned both historically and currently, but to list a few. Pet Finder had not been updated in almost 2 years. This is the most basic element of animal rescue and placement, done without issue around the country by countless cat ladies with few technical skills. The veterinarian being utilized was charging retail prices when he came to the facility at all. Dogs and cats were going unvaccinated, spreading disease in the facility and the community. I have statements, stories, videos, and firsthand knowledge that outlines not only budgetary waste, but a profound apathy in the operational control of Sumner County Animal Control. Thanks to the Ad Hoc Committee, Team Shelter USA was brought in to do an assessment and new standard operating procedures were created. But we were denied access to the old standard operating procedures for comparison. The question then is, if the old procedures were not being followed, why should we believe the new standard operating procedures will be followed? Dogs and cats continue to be adopted without spay-neuters being done. As of last Saturday, only 3 of the 33 animals on the website were fixed. This cannot continue given the desperate conditions of unwanted cats and dogs being born in our community. Ask any rescues in the room how many calls we receive about unwanted litters on any given day. At Animal Control, a refund is given on proof of spay-neuter. How is this being enforced or followed on? Can it even be enforced? No adult animal should leave the facility still able to procreate. Blame for the situation continues to be focused on Sumner Spay-Neuter Alliance. Sumner County Animal Control's success should not depend on the ability or interest of one business entity to work with them. More targeted focus on spay-neuter and trap-neuter return must happen. Ignoring the issue only makes it exponentially worse. We also have issues with the lack of humane education, real humane education. The mission of the Sheriff's Department website states, and I quote, educating the public on pet overpopulation and spay-neuter programs. Animal Control has a unique and amazing opportunity to visit 9 elementary schools. These visits should focus on humane education, not the reading of Biblio Burrow, which is cute and well-meaning, but has nothing to do with humane education. Take animals, discuss spay-neuter, discuss adopting versus shopping, discuss keeping animals safe. Do you need resources? We have teachers in this community that can get them for you. Literacy is admirable, but do it on your own time. Where we want to go. The ad hoc committee's work is not finished. Ask yourselves, would the independent evaluation by Team Shelter USA have ever happened without the pressure brought by the ad hoc committee? Would Pet Finder have been updated? Would Facebook posting that seems to ramp up around meeting time have increased? We hear rumors that a move is now being made to dissolve the ad hoc committee so that Sumner County Animal Control can go back into the shadows once again. We ask why this is. Why would it bother this committee that the Animal Control Ad Hoc Committee exists and is doing sorely needed work? Please note that to my knowledge, no member of this committee, other than those on the ad hoc committee, has asked for progress or feedback or attended any of the ad hoc meetings. The citizens of this county demand the transparency that the ad hoc committee is just beginning to receive. This work is not over. If there's a move being contemplated to dissolve the ad hoc committee, we would respectfully ask that anyone that is employed or associated with the Sheriff's Department recuse themselves from the vote. We need to be sure that the work started is not abandoned or ignored, and based on past history, we are not confident that that will happen. If the committee is dissolved, this work will not end. Please see my husband or the thing that is going around for names, addresses, and phone numbers, and we will keep everybody apprised. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, so much. Kevin Baker, please. Please state your name and address.
Kevin Baker, 424 A.B. Wade Road. Well, Mr. Vice Chairman, I guess I won't be able to hound you anymore about not being prepared, but I appreciate your service as my commissioner. You know, we need to take this whole pet thing seriously. We don't want to turn into a Springfield, Ohio. Have a bunch of Haitians delivered to our doorstep. But that's not why I'm talking. I tried to catch the sheriff because I wanted to talk about this grant for, hold on a second, enforcement of Tennessee driving under the influence laws for $70,000. And it raises my antenna when I see out of $70,000 we're going to spend $3,000 for travel and conferences. And that's fine, except then half of it, $35,000, is going towards salaries, benefits, and taxes. And again, I don't have a problem. And I hope that the sheriff would be here so I could talk to him about it, because when you look at the information that the state provided, each grant must have an assigned project director with subject matter expertise in the areas of monitoring grants. I just hope that we're not spending $35,000 out of the $70,000 to administer a program and not give it to our rank and file people that are actually doing the work and making sure that we're actually got boots on the ground out on the streets enforcing the laws, not administering grants just for the sake of administering grants. That was my 2 cents. Have a great evening.
Can I ask, what was the name of that grant?
It was the
THSO.
Is it?
Yeah, it's on.
Right
It's
here.
the first one, THSO.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Can I have, sorry, I can't read. Oh, Donna DeSoto.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all today. I want to thank Kathy Arland for her presentation.
Your name and address.
Oh, sorry.
Name and address.
I'm Donna DeSoto. I live at 101 Chandler's Court in Hendersonville. I want to thank Kathy Arlen for eloquently echoing concerns, because what the most important thing is a measure of any society is how we treat our animals. If we can't treat the animals properly, then it begs the question, how are we treating humans? And so I'm very honored to be a part of this ad hoc committee. I'm going to show you, this is a lot of the work that I've done. Me, as an ordinary citizen, like Kathy Arlen, who does a lot of work as well. And I've even contacted many different, of course, I don't know how many have pets, but these are my babies. That's Elvis and Allie. And they sometimes rescue us, I think. And I think there's a lot of opportunity that we're missing here, because when I learned that there was a 70% euthanization rate, and that trend continued for years, I can't tell you how heartbreaking that is, because there are many animals that needlessly perished and a lot of families that could have had access to wonderful pets. And throughout the course of my learnings, there's one very important aspect, and that's to have a robust spay and neuter program. And we're lacking that. And again, if you're looking at a business, that business has standards. That business needs and would like to work with our, with the sheriff's office as well. But there are things that fall apart called relationships, and maybe there's some opportunity to bring in different faces to be able to do certain things. We don't have a very good optics in our county in the past of what happened to animals here. And so what we desperately need to do is to continue on with this ad hoc committee, because there's going to be left-hand column, and I'm requesting right-hand column to be filled in. We should not be waiting for an entire 30 days to get access to intelligence. We have something called computers where we can seamlessly ask questions. If we want to track our progress, there's something called data inputs. And when you do your data inputs, you can do line graphs and chart graphs. They're very easy to do. It's with a flick of a switch that you can change just numbers into digestible aspects of where we were at baseline and how far we've come. And we should actually look at that and say, look at us. We've done a job well done in the shared interest with community and also with the sheriff's office. What I'm hoping to see is the presence of leadership at a very important committee, because it sends a message to the citizenry that we care, we want to hear you. It takes a movement. And what's happening here with ad hoc, as you can see, is a citizens movement. A citizens movement is what causes change. And what I would love to see is for the work we started to continue, so that we see here's where we are and here's where we are going. To have volunteers to be able to have access. Right now, it seems to me, from what I've gleaned, a model issue. Some of the things, are we having the right people in place to do the work? Those are questions that still need to be answered. And as we start moving forward, and hopefully we'll start less inertia and a lot more giddy up when it comes to use of shared back and forth in between these meetings, that's where we're going to start really seeing some advancement. We're not looking at a factory where there's widgets. At the end of the day, animal lives depend on it. And if they suffer, then that is a very tragic commentary. We must do better. And I want us to be like a Williamson County. I want us to be like a Rutherford County and all the things that they do in implementing best practices. That's all we're asking, and that's what we're hoping we can achieve. And with your, continuing on, that would be a wonderful thing, and I kindly ask that we continue on with the progress we're making and make this a great county. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sokol. Okay, can I have Karen Disney?
Hi, I'm Karen Disney. I live at 112 Country Club Drive in Hendersonville. I'm not as educated as some of the ladies that have spoken before, but I did just have some questions for y'all to think about. Like, I don't know the purpose of the committee, why exactly it was created, or if there were clear objectives or metrics laid out of what was hoped to be achieved, but to me, that should be the measure of when the committee's ready to be wrapped up. So if we don't already have that, I think that's a really good idea to identify, like, what's the point of having the committee? Is it to always hold animal control accountable? Is it to address these immediate issues? Was it to bring in the USA people? I came for that presentation. But I think that's something that needs to be considered, because how will we know that the work is done if we don't define those kind of success criteria of what the committee is there for? And then I do have that question about the accountability structure for the animal control department. Like, is there an oversight? Is it you guys? You don't have to answer that right now, but just I would like to understand as a citizen, if we don't have like a citizens oversight committee, then who is sort of making sure that whatever those metrics are, you know, do we want an X% euthanasia rate? Do we want, you know, 100% of animals vaccinated on intake, 100% spayed, neutered before they go? Is that realistic? So I just wanted to encourage that. Let's try to define some facts around it and some data that we can collect. And then I think that would help me anyway as a citizen, just to understand, like, did we improve things? What was the point of the committee? Did we implement the things that the Team USA shelter folks came in and recommended? So that's all for me.
Thank you very much. Lyndon Allen, please. State your name and address.
My name is Lyndon Allen. I live at 222 Bishop Trout Road, Westmoreland, Tennessee. I'm new to the area. I retired and I moved to Tennessee from Ohio. I'm not really sure what's gone on in the past, but August 15th this year, we adopted a dog from the Sumner Animal Control. And from what I saw, they were doing a pretty good job. When I stopped in, I got there too early. I thought they opened at 9, and we got there at 9 o'clock. The guy came out, explained to me they were only taking adoptions in. At 10 o'clock they opened. So when I came back at 10 o'clock, they knew which dog I was interested in. The dog had just been given a bath. We went to the outside exercise area. The dog didn't really want too much to do with us. It was very, very interested in the people that worked there. You could see that dog had been well cared for. The dog was fully vaccinated, was not spayed. They explained to me that if I spayed the dog, I'd get part of my money back. We did get the dog spayed. I told them I don't want the money back. I'd rather they keep the money and use it at their facility. She was, like I say, she was fully vaccinated. They had some medicine that had been prescribed for her. They gave us that medicine, and I'm happy to say that, you know, we took her to the vet, had everything checked out. She was in great health, and like I say, I don't know what's gone on in the past, but I agree with the people that, you know, they should be held accountable. But I just wanted to give them a little vote of confidence that, from what I saw, they had been doing a good job. So, and they were kind of surprised when I came back. I told them, they said you had 30 days. It took us almost that long to get the appointment with the vet because they were so backed up. But when I came back, I told them I just wanted to let them know that, yes, you know, I did get the dog taken care of, but that I did not want the money. And from what I saw, they were doing a good job. Thank you.
What's the dog's name?
It was listed on the internet as Gypsy, but we changed the name after we got the dog, and we figured it was about 9 months old. It's a German Shepherd, and
She'd been there a while.
pardon?
She'd been there a while, right?
I don't really know. I know they had posted it on Facebook.
Can't do this.
And we got her the next morning. They even put a thing in there that says we were surprised the dog was gone immediately the next day. So I don't know how long it had been there.
Well, thank you, sir, so much. I was just informed that that was my first mistake of probably many as chairman. But sorry about asking the question. But I just want to say, just report of the chairman. I just want to say thank you for voting me in and having confidence in me. I will do my best to be a student of of our prior chairman and of what has happened in the committee and just really know what the people need in this and I'll do my best to represent the people as I always hope and pray I do. So I'd love everyone's prayers, if y'all wouldn't mind, just that I do a good job. Report of the county mayor. It looks like there's no county mayor here.
There's an email that was handed out, I believe.
On paper?
Was it this one right here?
Yeah, I think that is the mayor.
Okay, got it.
On this one?
This is for.
Oh, yeah.
Very bottom first page.
Yeah, he's
It says report right here.
right here.
Yeah, he usually gives that report.
Okay, got it. So, just so everyone knows this where it is. And it looks like that the calls for service, does it just kind of go through this whole thing? Is that kind of what he does?
Good chair, congratulations. Yeah.
Okay, so the calls for service, it looks like the total calls for service for law enforcement for 2024 thus far are over 130,253. And then fire, there's been 19,388 calls, and there have been 20,206 calls for EMS. 911 has received 39,132 calls, and then admin has just received 126,383 calls. So thank you, Mayor Isbell's watching. Thank you for sending that ahead to us. We appreciate that very much. Going to report of the sheriff.
I will say Sheriff Craddock's on vacation. He's been gone with his family. They've had this plan for over a year.
Oh, good deal. Well, so
I'm out of order, but I was just trying to help you out.
thank you so much. Okay, so report of the Emergency Management Agency.
Emergency management's in the East Tennessee.
I knew that. I got the,
Okay.
yes. I just didn't know if anyone was going to be here for it.
Hey, could I ask if Commissioner Rogers has any information from Mr. Widener that you'd like to report? That'd be interesting to the public.
I don't have any, I mean.
Would you share the?
Only thing I know is that they had a crew leave out yesterday going to East Tennessee to help with satellite systems in their EOC.
Yes.
So they're trying to get all that up and going. This is their round 2, second tour, I guess.
Yeah.
That they're going out there. They do have cadaver dogs out making searches.
Yeah.
So
They're staying in Tennessee though.
sad situation. I don't know. I don't know if FEMA allows them to go back and forth. I'm sure their commission would restrict them to stay in Tennessee. But under a natural disaster, I'm sure they can go wherever. I'm sure Director Widener can go wherever because I'm sure he carries a federal commission under Department of Homeland Security, so he's probably able to cross back and forth.
Yeah. It's been very, very wonderful to see all the, he sends out reports so much and is really good about keeping everybody informed on the commission, I know. So, just report of EMS.
Good evening. Add to that, yes, they are in East Tennessee. They should be back towards the end of the week. We also have, we're along the lines of the same thing, we also have a crew on standby to go to Florida with this hurricane that's coming in. So we're just waiting to coordinate that with the state and federal people. So jumping into my reports real quick, the first page of my report, excuse me, is calls and transports. You can see there the calls for August and September of this year. Next page is just a breakdown of each station as they run calls. The following report there is fresh out of CAD, and it is the dispatch. Those are every call that we went to broken down into call type. So you can see how many we've responded to at that point. Following is the report that we were asked to provide for our in-county and out-of-county responses. So there at the top, you can see that we have the first full year on top, second year that we've been doing it. We're up to September now, so you can see where those, and I do apologize, I did not get 2024's on here. I just noticed that. I cut it off when I printed it. So we did have, it was right around 45 or 50 responses into Sumner County for Robertson County this past month. The following report is our EMS revenue. The blue color is August, the yellow color is September. So for a total, which would be those 2 months, because our fiscal year starts July 1st, but our revenue starts in August. So far we brought in about $1.5 million for those 2 months. Follow that up with our charge detail for September. You can see that with all the charges and everything that went out and the amounts that were charged. Last is our AR. Just shows you where our money is in our billing process and how much is left out there.
I'll ask a question.
Yes, I want to see if anybody would entertain a motion if we could just suspend the rules just for the rule of just speaking to Assistant Chief for question. Do we have to suspend the rules?
If this is a report, you shouldn't have to.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
On the report where you have the numbers of what you've got them
Yes, ma'am.
separated out, under the overdoses, is that 28 total for the year, or is that just 28 for the month?
No, that is for the month.
Okay, so in respect to that, when there is an overdose, how, do you take them to the closest facility, or how do you do that?
Most of the time, yes. It depends on how they are.
Because I know every time I've called 911 for a patient, we take them to the closest place. I'm just trying to verify.
Yeah, if they're awake and alert and they want to go somewhere, then we can take them there. But if they are, 9 times out of 10, if we're getting called, they're going to have an altered LOC or
Right.
some level of consciousness. So then we go to the closest at that point.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And along that lines, I have sent Mr. Dustin the reports for September also. So he has those for y'all's ad hoc committee, or
Yeah.
y'all's opioid committee.
Correct. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you so much for that report. Appreciate all you do. Report of ECC.
That was it.
That's what you gave
Oh,
on
I
the
got it.
mayor's report.
I got it, I'm sorry. Okay. And then, old business, we got animal control ad hoc. Anything I need to know about that, I'll entertain any motion or whatever. Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that when this is
He
on.
was in first.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
I had someone stand up here and say something about someone working for the sheriff's office. They didn't need to vote.
Who said that?
I will vote for the people that I work for. And I will not take anything from anyone who has faced criminal charges that wants me to step down and not vote. That's not happening. So y'all can forget that.
I'm not quite sure what he's talking about.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead. You were first.
I would like to make a motion, well, I don't even know if it needs to be a motion, but when animal ad hoc is on here, can we add that as animal ad hoc progress report, or in that respect? Because many of the people that we deal with animal control at the ad hoc, some of them have told me, when they see that, they think you're gonna cancel it. And that's why they're all up in arms. And if we could just clarify why it's on here, like ad hoc progress report, something to that respect, or update from the last meeting, something so that those folks who are truly involved with ad hoc, the community, can really know that that's why we're there. Because there is a lot of anxiety about the animal ad hoc committee and rumors that people are trying to get rid of it. And we need to address that so that there's that lack of anxiety, get that anxiety gone.
Chairman Teacher. In all fairness to former Chairman, Mr.
Hey,
Chairman
there's no
Rogers.
second on this, just so we know.
Oh,
Do we
for
wanna-
discussion?
Yeah, we got- yes.
I'll second.
Go ahead. All in
Who
favor, say
motioned to
aye.
discuss?
I did.
Okay,
All
second.
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, go ahead.
In all fairness to former Chairman Rogers, I think he left it on here because we had put it on there from last month and we left it as old business. Am I correct? And just kind of see where we are at the time of the new committee, when the committee came up, because we hadn't had a report or whatever. Was that fair? Why did you add it on there on the agenda? I won't speak for you. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, yes, please.
So it was on there originally, I believe, in June or July, and that was to get a status of the ad hoc committee because it had been going for quite some time. We didn't have it. At that time, it was requested that we put it back on in September or October for review. We did not meet in September, so I asked legal to roll it to October for that review, so we continue that review. That's what it's here for. I said back then that I wasn't trying to disband it. I'm saying again today, it's the committee's will. Whatever this committee wants, this committee is the one that formed that ad hoc committee. This is the same thing I said back when it was on the agenda the first time. If the committee chooses to dissolve it, that's up to the committee. It's not my agenda to dissolve this ad hoc committee of these animals in this county. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's not the intent.
I'm not real sure either, but all I am asking is that, and I appreciate you putting it on there, but I just want to make sure that there is anytime you put an agenda item on there, like you've got status of volunteer fire department, well, that's good. You got status of volunteer fire department. But when you just put animal control ad hoc, that's like, okay, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So I'm just asking that we put status or a verb to kind of decrease the anxiety. I'm
So I will ask, who was the vice chair of this committee before we just voted tonight? Was you vice chair?
Yeah.
So if there was issues with the agenda, they could have been brought up and we could have clarified it. So I'll be sure to
I
help
don't
you out
mind
with that, Mr. Chairman.
You don't have to be like that. I'm just asking a question.
I'm just making
I mean,
statements
that's
and
just rude.
observations.
I'm sorry, that's rude, but
Wait,
okay, go ahead.
let's bring it back in order. We don't need to be talking like that to each other, but.
Clarity.
So, yes, go ahead.
So, I did not assume any bad intention. I talked to the Chairman Rogers last time it was put on there, and we knew it was going to be contentious with the people because everybody was worried it was going to be trying to close that, and he assured me that that was not his intentions. But not knowing why it was on here, I wasn't going to assume anything, but I did come prepared with a report. And I don't know if that's fair right now during speaking about it. Maybe we could come up with a suggestion for how we move forward with it after I give it. Could I go ahead and read my report at this time?
It's the appropriate time, yes. Right. Go ahead.
If I may, Chairman, to Mr. Rogers' point, the whole purpose, as I remember it being bumped over here, was to make a determination. Does this thing keep going on or does it not go on? No bias in either direction, but this thing's kind of run rogue, and to kind of rein it in. And if it needs to be continued, I believe the intent was to make it reporting, as was brought up earlier, or something to that effect. But that was my understanding of the intent of having it on the agenda last month, was to decide what are we doing with this thing.
Okay, so I have a couple questions, if you don't mind, just before you go, because it'll matter.
Go ahead.
So, just because I'm new, can I ask either you or
I'll defer to legal.
okay, I just wanted to see, when was it formed?
October of last year.
October of last year, okay. How many people are on it?
That was our first meeting. It's
I didn't come prepared to answer those questions.
okay.
I don't have their.
2 citizens and a representative from the Sheriff's Department
3.
that's familiar with the ad hoc,
Okay,
with
got
the
it.
animal control.
Got it. And then, is there a mission statement, or is there like a mission vision kind of, a purpose statement? I guess you'd say.
You may get that from my report.
Okay,
It would be
yes.
answered. It would be answered through that.
Okay, so October of last year, 3
3 commissioners.
commissioners, 2 citizens, and
citizens.
1 person from the
Sheriff's
Sheriff's Department. And, okay, that's good. I just wanted to kind of get an overview, because some folks may not know it. I know,
No,
I knew a
and
little
I'll
bit about
address
it.
that. I'll address that in,
Yes, so go ahead, please.
in these statements. And just so a lot of you may have seen me on my phone during some of the citizen comments, I was doing some editing to try to not double up on some of the things that were said. I was taking some things out of there, but I was engaged and paying attention. So I'm the chairman of the Animal Control Ad Hoc Committee. I'll start by explaining how it got started. And we started the Animal Control Ad Hoc Committee a year ago this month. We did so because a lot of questions arose during a Health Emergency Services Committee after a proposal was given about the animal control facilities issue status. We learned about these concerns via citizen emails. The concerns were about a closure due to a contagion in the dog kennels at the beginning of July of 2023. This was discussed in the August Health Emergency Services meeting. The issue was immediately addressed by the travel vet and the Sheriff's Department, and a solution in the way of a new air disinfectant system was purchased and installed. After that report of then Chief Deputy Craddock, now Sheriff Craddock, more questions were asked about the animal control facility, and so it was added to old business. This led to a presentation being added to the next meeting of the Health Emergency Services, referred to as HEMS. We received several more emails from citizens between August and September. Then at the September meeting, we had some concerned citizens speak during public comments. A PowerPoint presentation of animal control by Captain Hurst led to more questions, and I suggested that we explore these questions outside of the HEMS committee in an ad hoc committee to save time. We had anywhere from 10 to 40 people in attendance at all of our meetings. The citizens are engaged and our community partners are very willing to help. This committee has been very tough and has gotten contentious at times. Passionate citizens dealing with elected officials, dealing with a constitutionally elected officer, all taking advice from an expert in the field of animal care, makes it very interesting at times. Things have moved extremely slow and have had to be relayed to the sheriff via his committee member representative. However, we have had good discussions that have led to good ideas. We listened to our community partners and experienced volunteers to identify the areas that needed attention. We researched other counties with similar operations and some that were run privately. Our goal was to make sure we were doing the best with the money that we had designated towards animal control. We focused on a few key goals of 100% spay or neuter and vaccinations for all animals that were adopted out of animal control. This was a standard all agreed, including the Sheriff's Department, should be strived for, but is not the current procedure. The main reason this was not done was because of minimum requirements in our state law that allowed for lower standards. So to be clear, they're operating within the law. The other reason was because of a strained relationship with Sumner Spay and Neuter Alliance. They are the only local entity that can perform affordable procedures. The alternative is to drive the animals weekly to a vet in Bowling Green, Kentucky to be spayed or neutered. This has been the policy for the last several months. We have no real answer as to why the relationship with Spay and Neuter Alliance can't be mended. This is a major issue that has been a point of friction for years and throughout this committee process. It needs to be corrected. The committee doesn't understand why this issue keeps lingering. In short, there are points of frustration. Now on to some of the good points. This ad hoc committee is a learning experience for most of us. Through research, both the committee and the Sheriff's Department have learned there are newer best practices that should be followed. After much discussion with the committee, then Chief, now Sheriff Craddock, and citizen member Ms. DeSopo, individually but simultaneously reached out to Dr. Sarah Pisano to do a third-party independent evaluation of our facility. She advised us of a grant available to cover the fees for the study. The study took place in April of this year. Several suggestions came out of it, and suggestions were made to the committee and the Sheriff's Department. Better living quarters, modern cleaning techniques, less crowding for lower stress, outdoor fenced dog runs, discussions on community cats, and public education on when to and when not to bring in an animal to animal control were all addressed. We all learned a lot. We changed a previous focus of more funds for a vet towards 2 other part-time positions to allow for more non-law enforcement employees. This would allow for improvement in adoptions, management of volunteers, and for dealing with the public for adoptions and fostering programs. It was suggested to add volunteers rather than inmates to do the cleaning and walking of the animals. I think the sheriff wants to keep the inmates along with implementing volunteers. We realize that many of the changes that were identified and agreed upon were very contingent upon funding getting passed. I met with Sheriff Craddock about the increased funding needed, and he requested it in his budget, and it was ultimately passed. They now have an increased approximately $200,000 a year, I believe. The budget passed in the end of August. Some facility changes have occurred. The capacity has changed, which has lowered the stress of the animals. I think we're vaccinating 100% of the animals on intake. The relationship with the Spay and Neuter Alliance is still not corrected. Inefficient trips to Kentucky for some spaying and neutering every week are still occurring. We're still waiting for these 2 part-time employees to be hired, but I'm told that they're interviewing people and they're trying to get that in order ASAP. They are very important to getting the volunteer program started. We still are not spaying and neutering all animals before they leave the animal control. While things are moving extremely slow, we still remain hopeful that these agreed upon changes are coming soon. There's a report that's available that I can make available to anybody interested from Dr. Pisano that she gave to the committee, and there's a grid of items that are being checked off as they get done, and that's the reports we're getting in animal control. I'd like to maybe see that added on to this committee as just a standing report of maybe make it quarterly or something, just to see what items have been knocked off that list. If that be the will of this body, we could make that something that we just check in on once every quarter and see where they are with the implementation of these suggested new best practices. That's all I've got.
I appreciate that.
Thank you
very
for
much.
being patient.
Super helpful. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I make a motion to at least continue the ad hoc committee
A
for
second.
6 more months and make it a 6 month to 6 month, basically a half a year, and go from there. And also hopefully have some type, if y'all will, a report like we were talking about every month, even if it's just something in here from the ad hoc committee.
I'd like to amend that. I like everything you said, but I would like it to be.
Wait, we haven't got a second yet.
Oh.
So I second it. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Well, for what? What are we
for-
saying aye to?
For having
For
6 months.
discussion? No, I'm not
No.
voting for that yet. I'm
No,
not
I'm
doing
saying,
discussion.
I'm saying for the discussion for the 6 months.
We're not voting yet.
Yeah, we got,
Motion second,
you
start
got a motion,
discussing.
second on the floor, so
And
we're
then
good to
in
go.
discuss. Okay, so I wanted to amend that to make it a report from,
Maybe what I did wrong.
included in part of the sheriff's report, a representative, either, Captain McCoy? Captain McCoy? Lieutenant?
Captain.
I'm not sure what it is. Captain McCoy maybe come. I know he's over animal control now.
That would be great.
Or send just basically an up-to-date list of where we are with that. We can add in there anything for the committee could speak at that time, maybe if they have something to add or something, but I would like it to be more concise and just be included in the sheriff's report as to where we are. It'd be nice if someone from animal control would show up to give us an update on where we are, but it could just be simply included in the sheriff's report.
So what's your
Sheriff's
amendment?
Department. To add it, that the update not come from the committee, but from the sheriff's department. Just changes the verbiage a little bit about what he said. Everything he said, but make it come from the sheriff's department, not the committee. Would that be
As
agreeable?
part of the sheriff's report,
Yeah. Would that be agreeable to make the motion? And is there a place in there then to?
Speak on the sheriff's office.
Well, it'd be a request, of course, right?
yeah,
Because it's
you can't,
constitutionally elected.
yes.
So what types of things do they report when they report? Just what they want to report? Or is it some of the things we're asking for each month? If it's always up to them what they want, then we can't change our asking. I mean,
Because he's a constitutional officer.
Right, it's
I
whatever.
think
they
you're
want
getting
to
into the
report.
weeds here. Do you want to report it as a ad hoc, or do you want it to be part of the sheriff's report? That's the ask.
I want to make it as part of the sheriff's report, is what I'm
So that's
asking
your
for.
amendment to his motion to extend it for 6 months.
Yes,
So-
but if somebody else has an idea, I'll be open to anybody.
Just patiently waiting. So if we're gonna make it part of the sheriff's report, why don't we dissolve the ad hoc? And if we don't get what we want, we can come back up in 2 months and bring the ad hoc committee back. That keeps you from having to go to meetings, that alleviates the citizens' involvement, and it puts the trust back to the sheriff's office. And if you don't like it, then we can always bring the ad hoc committee back. I mean, essentially, that's what you've done. If you don't want the ad hoc committee to report, and you want it to come from the sheriff, because the ad hoc committee was always supposed to be bringing the report back to this committee.
So, I'm gonna say something. So, I've had 100% of everyone who's reached out to me has said, please keep the ad hoc committee going. So I had to respect that, number one. But number two, I like what you're saying, but I think it is a little muddied. I think that it's kind of hard to know because for one thing, we can't tell Sheriff Craddock what to put on his report, and number two, it seems like that makes a lot more folks to have to work with to try to get the ad hoc committee report to us. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not interested in dissolving the committee at all. I'll retract that and leave his standing to vote on, and I don't mind giving a report as a committee going forward. But you're just saying revisit it every 6 months.
Yes, the ad hoc committee, every 6 months. And of course, we can make it.
We can do the
for a
report
year or
monthly.
more. Yeah.
Call for the main motion.
Okay, got it.
So,
Yeah.
So that's call for the question.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Could I ask him to restate this whole motion again?
Would it be okay if
No.
or can you restate it?
Yeah.
Is that legal?
Yes, that's absolutely
Yeah, please
necessary.
restate.
Please do.
To keep the ad hoc committee for 6 more months and for them to have something for us to look at every month. If we're gonna have the ad hoc committee, I would like to see something, not just verbal, but I would like to see something on paper so that we can have suggestions to put forth.
Okay, no more discussion can be had. So is that clear on everybody?
Just, to be- it's continued for 6 month contingent upon, not contingent, but continued 6 months with monthly reporting.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, now, and I should restate, no more discussion can be had if this passes. But I want to make sure that we're voting on it just in the most legal way. So, okay, so to call for the question for what was just said, and we restate the way you've got it written now.
Now you gotta vote on calling the question.
We're voting on call a question.
Okay, all in favor for call a question, say aye.
Aye.
No.
All opposed, say no. No for me, so. It looks like that the ayes have it, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go with straight to the, would you read the amendment? I mean,
To
the
continue
motion.
the animal control ad hoc for 6 months with monthly reporting.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, wait, do we have a second on that, do we? I don't think we have a second.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was calling the question.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember who seconded. I
That's
don't
before we got
second his
into
motion.
discussion.
And then he called for a question
Initially,
later.
I seconded his
Okay,
motion.
got it, good. Yeah, I remember.
So we're gonna vote.
Okay, yes, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, it passes unanimously. So just to clarify exactly what was said, we're going to have a standing report, and will you take care of that? Just to make sure that we have something in writing? And then would you also send out that report would you mind, to the full?
Do you want me to email that to the board members, or how do I submit that?
I would.
I've never submitted something to the agenda.
Yeah, if you want, you can just put it to all commissioners if you want to, and just say this is for the.
Just as an email to all.
Yeah, you can just put all commission, and then I think that's the most fair, but it'll eventually come forward.
I'll do that.
Good deal, thanks. Okay,
Yes.
so moving on to the status of the volunteer fire department ad hoc, which are pages 14 through 19. Oh, yes, please.
for the past few months, we've been meeting with the volunteer fire departments about funding.
Yes.
Back last year, they, I guess, submitted a proposal to the county. Well, I'll just read what we come up with from the minutes from the last meeting. A motion was made by Mr. Wright and seconded by Mr. Matthews to send the donation agreement between Sumner County and the volunteer fire departments of Sumner County back to the Health and Emergency Services Committee. This would be a 5-year contract and was specify an amount to be received Sumner County each year. Motion was passed unanimously. And that, I believe, was $1,024,000 per year over the next 5 years. And this is using a CTAS funding formula. And like I said, this was a request that was made to them, to the budget committee last year, and I think it was, nothing was done with it. The committee feels like this is the only way we can go. We discussed numerous different funding mechanisms as far as adding a penny on the property tax, sales tax, fire tax. We felt like this was the way to go, and that's our recommendation.
So the recommendation is to go to budget and get
To send this back to budget from the recommendation of this committee.
So, and it would increase some sort of a tax raise?
Oh,
Is that what you're saying?
I don't think, no, I said we discussed different ways that we could raise money to fund the fire. We don't know what this is gonna do until it goes through the budget process.
I see. And that would be for, what was that amount again? That was needed?
$1,024,000 spread each year for the next 5 years.
Got it. And just to clarify, so it's a recommendation of CTAS for that amount?
No, the CTAS, you recommended using a funding, is Mr. Matthews, have you got that? Do you mind suspending the rules and letting him break, because you're new to this
Yeah,
committee, and I wanted you to be aware of this
Yes.
formula that CTAS gets suggested.
So I make a motion.
It's a formula that they're using to come up with the amount of money that they're saying that they're gonna need for the next 5 years.
Now, I think it's in here, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't think it was. I didn't see it in there.
Wait a second. I make a motion, we suspend the rule just to allow Mr. Brad Williams to come speak to us, if you don't mind, sir. Anybody got a second on that?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Page 19,
Page
Yes.
19.
right behind your resolution.
Just super quickly, because I know Mr. Teacher is new as this. All we're saying is, it's this, we went through a roundabout of a lot of different solutions in the ad hoc committee. We found that the solution we presented over last year's budget hearings was the best solution for the county, we feel. All that this would include is a raise of about $350,000 from where we're currently funded this year. The biggest difference besides the money value would be the way we're funded. Currently, we get $24,000 per station, along with a big one-time chunk of money that's refunded every year. This year, it's currently at $450,000, I believe. And so we would take the one-time chunk away. We would switch to this funding formula, which takes into account your homeowner property values and a few other things that are mathematically based that we can use data to derive these numbers instead of just pulling a number out of the sky like we have for years. And this will be based on a 5-year contract. So we've kind of set it up to where last year, our 2024 is a reappraisal year. And so the year following would be the year we re-up on these contracts, where the numbers would change. We would see what the county felt was comfortable, renegotiate the numbers, and then be locked in again for 5 more years. And we wouldn't have, the biggest thing that would do for us is it would allow us not to be here every year, because by the time we finally get our funding, we're starting the process over not knowing what's going to happen next year. And with the 5-year contracts, it locks it in, allows us to get financing on fire trucks. The banks will finance us better because it shows the banks that the county will be here for the next few years as funding. gives us some security and allows us to grow our fire departments as needed.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there any questions for that?
Yeah. The new Highland that is gonna be built. in
Yes, their
November,
third station.
that will probably need to be included in this too, will it not?
I don't think so, because currently they have 3 stations. They're taking their current station number 2 that they have and moving it down the road in a
Okay.
building that they would own. So their zone size is not changing, just the location and ownership of their
Gotcha.
current station type.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, wait, we got one more
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
I apologize, I may have missed, with Commissioner Harris at the beginning, because I was following up something with, Steve and Eric about the last item, and he may have addressed this, but does this basically shift, there's the, funding from the county citizens that would use the department's services to all county citizens?
No, it doesn't shift anything, it just changes the amount of funding and how it's allocated. So right now we receive a donation of, I think it's $650,000 in total of a budget. This would change that one-time, or that funding that's yearly, into its $1,023,400 and some change in there. But it would change that number and then change the way we allocate it. So instead of giving it per station, it would be a funding formula that is in front of you, all the math is there, and it would show you how all the money in total will be allocated.
So right now, we have a current $650,000 a year line item in the budget that goes towards them. It's not given out of charitable donations. It's a
No,
flat-
it is charitable donations,
It's all true, yeah.
but it's just a different amount that would be there.
We're just increasing the amount that you're giving them now to the $1,024,000.
Yeah, where it come from, we'll be able to budget for.
And if I'm not mistaken, we're all talking about an aggregate number that is not dispersed by the county in an aggregate fashion. So we'll need to take that up with budget.
Exactly. That's why
Yeah.
we're bringing this now for this to be sent on to budget from this committee.
Are you on budget? Is anybody on budget that sits at this table? Anybody?
I'm not.
Does anybody know what the total allotment of charitable donations is per year?
I did have that number.
A lot. I
I
mean,
mean,
I
like
come
a
at
about money, we split it up.
I don't think so.
Because we had a committee
Yeah,
for that.
that is true.
We have a committee that decides how that bucket of money gets split every year.
Mr. Chairman, we're
We're out, we're way out, yeah, but.
Well, it's leading to a question.
No, we're,
I mean, it's
Well, I understand,
part of
but we're not
it's
under the
part of
rules.
question, so.
Can we go back into session?
yeah, so let's
Sure,
make a motion to go
yeah.
back into session. Did you have a question for him before?
No, I guess he wouldn't be able to answer that anyway. This is something we need to answer internally.
Okay, we're gonna bring it back
I didn't
in
know which
session.
way to make the question go until I fleshed that out a little bit.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
that's fine. So
Um,
that's good.
I don't know.
I thought we had an X amount of
We
dollars
do,
that
we,
we
I'm-
agree upon every
we
year
have
to give to
an X
charitable
amount.
donations.
Is David Law in here?
No.
We're generally outside of that.
I think, but that's budgets,
Commissioner
that's
Boyd.
budgets rodeo. I mean,
I'd like to make
you're getting
questions.
into their
You know,
games.
we don't need to be doing budget's job.
Wait, let's.
I just want to understand it
let's-
before I vote on it.
We're just talking all over the, I agree, but it's just getting confusing for the folks especially.
Can I ask motion to
I'll-
suspend the
I'll
rules?
second
to
the
ask
motion to
Commissioner
suspend the
Boyd
rules just for.
to let her
Commissioner
answer
Boyd.
that question.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
So, I don't have the exact number for you, but I think where the confusion comes in is we do give charitable donations. During the budget committee, we take a block of it and we do it at the budget hearings. This was a block that we addressed at the budget hearings. Where it gets confusing and what you're referring to is we take another $100,000 and we sit it over here for a giving committee. And that's a committee that you'll see stepping in and giving away the $100,000
Okay.
for December, and that's where
That's what I'm thinking of.
So during the budget hearing, we address needs such as this.
And they always get their
And we did
$650.
address this model during the budget hearing.
Okay.
So we already addressed it.
Okay, so,
Do you have a finding on that, or is it something that needs to come
It
back?
wasn't
Like,
approved. We gave,
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, we suspended the rules for one question.
that's true.
yeah, that's true. Let's pull it back in.
well,
Well,
I think you
I would like to suspend the rules to ask her that question.
You can ask that one question if it's
Yeah.
okay with everybody. Second.
I would like to suspend the rules to ask Commissioner Boyd to speak to this
Point of
issue.
order.
Yeah, so,
I really think you're getting.
I think we're getting into, I think so too. I
I'm
think.
finding out if it's budget's territory by asking these questions. Otherwise, nobody can answer my question until we got there. So that's
Okay, so
why
I'll-
I thought it was worth asking, because I want to make an informed vote. If we're getting ready to send something up to budget, I wanted to understand.
Okay, so I'll second that, and we'll
Part
vote
of
on it, and if everybody wants to do it, we'll do it, and if not, nobody,
What are we
we'll
voting?
do it. We're gonna just vote on, just suspend the rules, just to
Oh,
let
okay.
Commissioner Boyd come up and speak just on this one subject, so.
It may roll into another question, and I don't want
Yeah, I
to,
got it.
keep her
So,
from
if
being
you're
able to
for it,
answer.
vote for it, if you're against it, vote against it, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No,
So, can we do a voice vote, roll call? I'm an aye.
Who were the no's?
We're tied right in the middle.
Okay.
That's a
Didn't do it, so, thanks, guys. Okay, so, we'll follow up with different questions later on, I
Now,
guess.
may I make a motion
Yes, sir.
that we send this on to budget and the agreement that was given last year for the budget, send that same agreement back this year with a recommendation from this committee. And also move.
I'll second that for the case of getting in the queue to speak on
Okay,
it. So I'm first in discussion.
for discussion, all in favor, say aye. Wait,
No,
sorry.
we don't have to vote on
You've
discussion.
already
I'm
done.
seconding.
Okay.
Second,
Which
you're
makes
good.
me
I don't know.
first in the queue.
Okay, got it, go ahead.
I will be a adamant no on this because I don't understand it enough because I wasn't allowed to ask questions. So I'll be voting no about sending this to budget. I wanted to understand the history about it, but I will not be voting on something I don't understand.
So, I'm gonna, speak on this in a second, but, go ahead, sir.
so just to try to help you out a little bit, just as I've always said, this is the idea stage. This is where we take the idea and say, yeah, we think this is a good idea. This is how a lot of stuff winds up in Gen Ops. And then once it's there, they decide whether they want to act on it or not. This is just the point where we say, hey, this is where we need to send it on, or this is not where we need to send it on. Give you some history on this is where, just as, I guess, he was chairman of the ad hoc committee. Chairman Harris had stated that this was sent there last year, but I think, just to be candid with the committee, we had about 6 different funding options that went to budget, and it was too much to digest at that time. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, budget said, hey, come back with something more solid, and we'll be willing to look at it now. Now that's what we've done. This ad hoc committee was established to go back through, to comb through what would be the best options, and not to beat a dead horse, but just as Commissioner Harris said, this is kind of what they came up with, and this would be the best solution to send forward. So I think really and truly, we would be doing a disservice not to send this to budget, to at least let budget look at it and say yes or no, than to let it die here. So I'll vote for it.
So I just want to say, my worry on this is how, I know it's good intentions. It feels that way very much. But I don't have enough information on the history of it, because I'm just new to this committee for one thing. But number two, it's like, I just got that report, but I mean, I haven't been following. So what I'm worried about is tax increases can accidentally happen if we pass through, because I know that if I write too many checks and I don't have enough in my bank account, then I'm gonna have to go ask my wife for some more money.
And homes still burn down and people still die.
I know, but the thing is, we gotta have the taxes low enough that the people don't have to move out and they can't live here. So I don't want anything to happen to anybody, but I don't think we can use that scared feeling. We gotta figure out what's next. I gotta know how to vote for it.
That's not a scare tactic, it's control.
I don't think anybody is asking us to increase taxes.
No.
What we are asking is to just send this to budget, and then budget can make that decision.
They can
whether
do the
to pass
research
it,
and, exactly.
send it wherever it needs to go from there, if it needs to go anywhere else, or they can vote on it to send it in front of the full commission and let 24 vote on it.
That's right.
Very true, go ahead.
Our job is,
Good point.
the way I understand it, our job in this committee is not just to listen to an idea, and if we don't understand it, send it on to budget for them to figure it out. Our job is
Do it
to
all the
fully
time.
understand. Point of order, Mr.
You do it all the time.
Yeah, let's keep it.
No, point of order. So our job is to understand enough to determine if there's a need. And then if there's a need, we send it on to budget to see if the need can be afforded with our current funding. And they make that decision. I wanted to understand more about the need, so I'm willing to discuss it more for people to move me on that issue. But if the will of this body is not to let people understand it enough to pass it on to budget, then I'm gonna be a firm no.
So I'm gonna make an amendment to this, that we keep it one extra month before we send it on. That we move it to old business for one time. How would I word that amendment?
Well, you've got a motion to move it, so
I
you
can't-
can't amend that.
I can't amend
To
that.
what you're wanting to do.
Got it. There's no way to do it. There's no way to make it where there's more time to understand more about it.
He'd have to withdraw his motion, or
We can vote on this motion,
If
but
it
then
doesn't.
if it passes or fails, we can vote on if someone wishes to make another motion to pass it on to old business, then we can go back right.
Because I would like to know more about it. I want the folks to have, just truth.
well, unless it passes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's ultimately. Okay,
Request a roll
so,
call.
yeah, so we got a motion and a second. So all in favor that this be passed on to budget as it stands, with the recommendation of the ad hoc committee, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
No.
Raise your hand for no's, please.
We got-
Yeah, aye, Madam Clerk.
So, just 2 no's.
Yes, it passes. So it's going on to budget. So, in this committee, can I ask a question? In this committee, is this something where I need to take it and make sure budget gets it, or will it automatically be sent ahead?
Legal normally forwards it
Yeah,
on to
we'll
that
forward it
committee.
Okay, good, making sure. I just wanted to drop it through the cracks. So. Okay, so, moving on to the next one. We got new business. We've got, Sheriff's Office THSO grant, which is pages 20 through 42. I'll entertain the motion.
I make a motion to.
Second.
Okay, what was your motion for?
Motion to approve it.
To approve it, second. Okay, I'd like to ask a couple questions about it. Can
We have nobody from the sheriff's department.
yeah, I don't know if you maybe could, would you mind briefing us on what it is up to it?
Well, so it's a THSO, Tennessee Highway Safety Grant, and they use this money to pay officers overtime that's out on DUI enforcements and stuff. It's not a salary for somebody sitting behind the desk pushing papers. It's actually, as the person said earlier, it's boots on the ground. It's a reimbursement for overtime in court and everything related to DUI offense.
DUI checkpoints and so
Correct.
forth.
Okay.
Because it takes several people to run those.
And it
not
takes
just
public
one or
notice
two.
and all that stuff.
I believe this is a grant they've received in the past
A
as
long
well.
time,
Yeah.
Okay, so, we've got a motion and a second. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Sheriff's Office TCI grant. And, okay, we got a motion, we got a second.
Motion, second.
Would you mind, okay, I'm gonna ask if we can have just a quick brief on that. Is that okay?
Yeah.
With y'all, because I just want,
Commissioner Wright may be more familiar with this one than I am.
would you mind, sir?
I'm not real familiar with it, to be honest with you.
43.
I've never written a grant.
I looked at it.
TCI. Does anybody know what TCI stands for? I can tell
It's
you
Tennessee
that.
Correctional Institution, I believe.
Yeah, this
It's a-
is coming out of Mr. Scott's office.
Yeah, this is a grant for equipment stuff for the jail. Again, it's part of the governor's, we would be just the pass through receiving the grant. I believe this is something that they've received a long time. Yeah, training for the earmuffs on the gun range and all that stuff, so it's equipment, yeah, that's needed for their line of duty.
Okay,
I
so,
make a motion to approve it.
well, we've already got it. We've already got that on
All right.
the table. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, fire department allocation, I'm gonna ask the same thing in a second, but,
So moved.
I'll go ahead and second it, but if y'all wouldn't mind, would you brief me on that?
So, I think that email was attached, nope, it's not. So,
It is.
It's the last one.
is it in there? Okay, so the last page of the email's in there on the packet.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
So, this came about, question with the volunteer fire chiefs. They was wanting to spend their money, which I don't blame them. So basically is what we need, they already have the money, we're not reinventing the wheel, we're not making extra allocations of money. It is $37,550, I believe, is the magic number per department. We just need to make sure that this goes on the budget, subject to the approval here, and budget's already aware of it. Yeah, $37,555 was that magic number. And that's the original, money allocated, divided by the standing volunteer fire departments across the county.
Okay, sorry, I was catching up real quick. Okay, was somebody in the queue? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, just one more.
Motion adjourned.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, guys. Oh, got a lot of studying to do, son.
You never used to do that when you were on highway, vote to speak.
How are you, Eric?
Always starts after you do it.
All right,
A
man.
motion and a second, discussion always starts. You never did that before. You just started doing that. Were you nervous or something? You've never done that.
Yeah, I
knew you knew.
I was just a little bit nervous because I wanted to make sure I didn't do it wrong because I was like, man, there's a lot to not miss. And I didn't want to vote on the wrong.
But this is the way I look at
Sign up sheet, anybody like to speak on education?
He's not here yet. So I look official with this. Need a minute?
Education. Oh, that's why you understand.
Hey, did you get my email? We switched the computers and none of my old email contacts come up anymore. So I don't have that guy.
Hey guys, we're starting education in about 2 minutes, if you can take it to the hall.
I did, but I was just busy today because they had an audit in 24. So all they'll have to do is give that audit to the comptroller's office.
I didn't know y'all had that.
They have an audit every year.
From the comptroller?
No, but that email that you sent, I read it to say they required them to have an audit. They have an audit every year.
I thought it said that they were gonna call and schedule something.
Oh, so the comptroller's gonna go in there and audit them?
I think so.
I don't know.
And I'll forward it to whoever you want. I just lost all my email addresses.
Yeah.
Anybody else like to sign up for education?
Yeah.
Everybody, are we ready?
I'm sorry.
Well, you only need 150 pages.